So today is Androecium. What is meant by Androecium? Androecium is one of the essential whorls of the flower. In a complete flower, we have four whorls. One is calycus consists of sepals. The second is corolla composed of petals. Then third whorl, which is Androecium में एक इंडिविजुअल मेंबर को स्टेमन कहते हैं. एंड देन वी हैव गाइनोशियम, एंड गाइनोशियम के एक मेंबर को हम कार्पल कहते हैं. So group of stamens constitutes androecium and group of carpels constitutes the gynoecium. Androecium is essential whorl because androecium has direct role in reproduction. Though other whorls like calyx and corolla are also involved in reproduction, but they facilitate the reproduction. They help the reproduction. But androecium is directly involved in the reproduction. How androecium is directly involved in the reproduction? And how androecium is the male whorl? अब इसके बारे में जो हम आगे पढ़ेंगे कि इसमें हमें समझ आ जाएगा कि what makes androecium the male whorl and what makes the gynoecium the female whorl. Androecium, when we talk about the androecium, it constitutes the third whorl of a flower, and it's made up of one or more stamens. And each stamen consists of filament, anther, and connective. By each stamen, we mean that every stamen of this Androecium, for example, this is the Androecium, this is the stamen, and this stamen has these parts. This part, this is called the filament part. The upper part is called the anther portion, and in the anther we have this. As such, the filament is continuing into the anther. This is called connective. जब हम इसका सेक्शन लेंगे कनेक्टिव, यहाँ ऊपर एंथर का सेक्शन लेंगे तो एंथर में हमें दिखेंगे पोलन ग्रेन्स मैच्योर एंथर में. एंड देन this connective will be a sterile tissue. It will compose of sterile cells which are not involved in formation of pollen grains. So this is another stamen. यहाँ पे ऊपर वाले पोर्शन को एंथर कहते हैं. This is the filament. यहाँ पे connective ज़्यादा visible नहीं है. This is another stamen. This stamen. Now coming to these stamens, when they together form the androecium, and androecium is male whorl of the flower. Anther में क्या है? The upper portion of the stamen, this portion. Anther is usually bilobed. इसमें दो lobes होते हैं. This is the normal case. We can have anther with one lobe as well, but the most general case is anther is bilobed. इसमें दो lobes होते हैं, and each lobe has two chambers. हर लोब में दो चैम्बर्स होते हैं. When we to take a section of it, इस तरह हम इसका सेक्शन लेंगे तो अंदर विजिबल क्या हो जाएंगे? दो lobes, and each lobe will be containing two chambers, or these chambers are called pollen sacs or pollen chambers. Like if we draw it, अगर हम इसको ड्रा करेंगे, इस एंथर का हम सेक्शन लेंगे this way. This is this whole is lobe 1, this portion is lobe 2, and in lobe 1 we have two sacs, two pollen chambers, two pollen sacs, two microsporangia in each lobe. Overall, how many microsporangia are here? We have 1, 2, 3, and 4 microsporangia pollen sacs. So overall, in an anther which is having two lobes, we call it a dithecus as well. Dithecus tetrasporangiate. Why tetrasporangiate? Because we have 4 sporangia, 1, 2, 3, and 4 sporangia in each anther. And यहाँ पे बीच में एक tissue है that is not involved in formation of pollen grains. This tissue is the continuation of the filament or जो इसका stamen का stalk होता है. This tissue is called connective, and this connective provides the vascular supply, water supply, and mineral supply to this growing anther, to this maturing anther. अब anther आ गया समझ किसी को? What is now anther? What is now anther? किसी को आ रहा है समझ?
Yes, sir.
तो छु वारिया कल पत वनन anther is usually bilobed and each lobe has two chambers, and those chambers are called pollen sacs. The pollen grains are produced in these pollen sacs. So overall, we have the anther, which is bilobed, dithecous, bilobed, dithecous,
Tetraspor.
dithecous, tetrasporangate, tetrasporangate, and tetrasporangate and tetragonal. Tetragonal means it has four sides. It has four sides. Now we have variation of this attachment of filament to the anther lobe, and since there is so many variation of attachment of filament to anther lobe, we have on the basis of this attachment we have three types of stamens. How many types? Three
Three
types.
types.
On the basis of what? On the basis of attachment of filament to the anther. We have number one adenate, we have dorsifixed versatile. What is meant by adenate type of anther, adenate type of stamen? When filament runs through the whole length of the anther from base to the apex. For example, we have this condition in Michelia, we have this condition in Magnolia, we have this condition, Michelia is also called Champa. So this type of attachment of the filament to the anther is called adenate. What is now adenate? Coming to this diagram, यहाँ पे हमें बनी हुई डायग्राम है, see it, ये वाला, this diagram. This is adenate. How it is adenate? See, ये जो इसका ये filament है, filament or stalk, it continues throughout the anther from base to the apex. ये यहाँ base में enter होता है, apex तक रहता है this filament. So this type of attachment of filament to the anther is called adenate. Now we have adenate आया समझ?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. We have now second the base fixed. Coming to base fixed, अगर हम इसका लिटरल मीनिंग लेंगे base fixed, many of you will understand from the word itself, base fixed. Base fixed means when the filament is attached to the anther lobes at the base. It is fixed to the anther at the base. We have then the third category, which is called dorsifixed. Dorsifixed में क्या है? When the filament is attached at the center to the back of the anther. This is the anther. Anther के back में at the center when the filament is attached. For example, this is the anther, and at its back side, the filament is attached. At the back side, in the middle, in the center, it is attached. So this condition is called dorsifixed. We have so many examples of the flowers of the plant species where these filaments are attached at the back of the anther in the middle, and that condition is called dorsifixed. So now coming to the third condition, this is versatile. From the word versatile, when we talk of the word versatile, this means that anther can swing freely on the filament. This anther has free motion. It can swing freely on the filament. But how this position is achieved? When the filament is attached to the back of the anther at a point only, This is the filament. This is attached to the back of this anther at a point only. So this anther has a free motion. It can swing freely on this filament. We have so many examples of versatile these stamens. For example, wheat, grass, maize. आप सबको आया समझ? Shall I repeat? मैं रिपीट करूं या आपको आया समझ? हेलो, एम आई ऑडिबल? आप सुन पा रहे हो मेरा?
Yes, sir.
समझ या आवाज समझ किन बकर रिपीट पे ये शैल आई रिपीट?
Yes, sir. आ गया समझ।
यहाँ है, सुमेरा है यहाँ पे क्लास में? नहीं, सुमेरा नहीं है। हफ्सा आपको आया समझ?
Yes, sir.
बमकर ब्याह तो ना
No, sir.
go these types of stamens. We have the types of stamens as adenate, we have dorsifixed, we have versatile, we have basifixed. It is based on how the filament, how the stalk of the anther is attached to the anther, how the stalk of the stamen is attached to the anther. अगर आपको पूछा जाएगा which part of the stamen is fertile, स्टेमन का कौन सा पार्ट फर्टाइल होता है? Which part of the stamen is fertile?
Anther.
Anther. Why anther is fertile? Because anther में क्या बनते हैं? Anther में pollen sacs होते हैं, and in each pollen sac there are pollen grains, maturing pollen grains. It is actually the pollen grain. Pollen grain को हम एंजियोस्पर्म्स में मेल गैमेटोफाइट कहते हैं. And how pollen grain is male gametophyte? Because pollen grain में ही male gamete होता है. और when you study a mature pollen grain, एक mature pollen grain में, एक मैच्योर पोलन ग्रेन में दो सेल्स होते हैं इनिशियली. एक होता है बड़ी सेल, वेजिटेटिव सेल, दूसरा होता है स्मॉलर सेल, दैट इज कॉल्ड द
Sir.
generative cell.
Jared.
Later on, after germination of the pollen grain, this generative cell divides to form two male gametes. So at maximum, the pollen grain in angiosperms is a male gametophyte having three cells. One is the one is the vegetative cell, and the other two are haploid male gametes. Yani, at maximum, there are three cells in the pollen grain or male gametophyte of angiosperms. These cells are vegetative cell and two male gametes. All these cells are haploid. They are having half the number of the chromosomes as that of the parent cell. So it is a gametophyte constituting the gametic number of chromosomes, half chromosome number as that of the parent cell. So the two gametes are here. These two gametes have a purpose after fertilization. They are involved in double fertilization and triple fusion. Double fertilization or triple fusion, which is a unique phenomena of angiosperm. डबल फर्टिलाइजेशन आपने 12th में भी पढ़ा होगा. डबल फर्टिलाइजेशन, दो फर्टिलाइजेशन होते हैं एंजियोस्पर्म्स में यूजुअली. एक मेल गैमेट fuse होता है with the egg, and that is called the syngamete, true fertilization, and with the result zygote is formed, and the second male gamete fuses with the central cell to form the primary endosperm cell. That endosperm cell later on forms the endosperm, and that endosperm is the nutritive tissue of the developing seed. आया समझ? ये ये सारा पोर्शन आपने पढ़ा है इन योर किसमें?
12.
12th क्लास. और आपको आगे भी पढ़ना है शायद 4th सेमेस्टर में, लेकिन पढ़ना होगा जरूर. इसको हम प्लांट डेवलपमेंटल बायोलॉजी कहते हैं. क्या कहते हैं?
Plant
Plant
development.
development.
now we have सुमेरा को, हफ्सा आप सुमेरा को प्लीज कॉल कीजिए, मैसेज कीजिए, उसको बोलिए कि ज्वाइन द क्लास if she is
Okay.
not having any problem and why she is not in class. Now we have cohesion of stamens. उसामा आप रिपीट करिए कोहिजन ऑफ स्टेमिनस, फिर मैं बताऊंगा व्हाट इज मेंट बाय कोहिजन ऑफ स्टेमिनस. आप सिर्फ रिपीट करें मेरे साथ.
Cohesion of stamens.
ओ, इतनी लेट क्यों आई आवाज? नेटवर्क ठीक है?
यस सर ठीक है।
देखिए, कोहिजन ऑफ स्टेमिनस के लिए मैं आपको पहले एक व्हाइट बोर्ड शेयर करता हूं आपके साथ, ताकि हम समझेंगे व्हाट दिस कोहिजन ऑफ स्टेमिनस इज। व्हाइट बोर्ड आया?
यस
यस सर।
सर।
ठीक है। रहे आप फोकस। दिस इज filament of the stamen. This is its anther. This is one stamen. We can have, since we can have more than one stamens in a flower and their cohesion, we have two terms. One is cohesion, the other is adhesion. ADHESION. आपने पढ़ा होगा या केमिस्ट्री में और इन फिजिक्स। Cohesion is when the molecules of similar kind are attached to one another. They are attached to one another. For example, water में cohesive forces है among water molecules. एक water molecule is linked to another water molecule. And how they are linked? They are linked, आपने पढ़ा होगा, and you are still studying it. They are linked through hydrogen bonds. So it is the bond between similar molecules. When similar molecules are attached to one another, the forces are called cohesive forces, and the process is called cohesion. When there is different molecules are attached to one another, we call it adhesion. जब हम प्लांट्स में ट्रांसपोर्ट ऑफ वाटर पढ़ते हैं, in xylem we say that water molecules form a water film among themselves, and the xylem walls which have lignin and other materials, to those walls of the xylem, water film gets attached by force which is called adhesive force. Adhesive force because lignin is one material and water is another material. So these forces are between unlike molecules, and such forces are called adhesive forces. Overall, the interplay of cohesive forces and adhesive forces is responsible for rise of water in plants, yeah, transport of water in plants. यहाँ पे taking the help of these terms, that is cohesion and adhesion, we can here understand the cohesion of these stamens. For example, we have one stamen, we have another stamen, we have another stamen. We have how many stamens here? 3 stamens. आप कोई मेरे साथ रिपीट करे, आई कैन नॉट डू इट सिंगल हैंडेडली, योताई नुताई में आकार करो, आपका इकरार करना जरूरी है। कोई रिपीट करे मेरे साथ। वी हैव हाउ मेनी स्टेमन्स?
Three
Three
stems.
stems.
But when these 3 stamens are free, these can be free, they can tranvay ऐसे तक किस निशन अलग अलग, the condition is called, कोई बताए मुझे, when stamens are free the condition is called, जिस तरह हमने पॉलीसेप्लस कहा, पॉलीपेटलस कहा, द कंडीशन इज कॉल्ड पॉलीस्टेमनस.
Pollen.
Polystem. We can have we
No.
can have another we can have another situation as well. See, this situation you have understood this one, that is stamens are free. Now we can have, see, stamens fused, but their anthers only fused, filaments free. We can have this condition as well. What is this condition? When anthers are,
Fused.
oh, asala, anthers are fused and filaments are free. Filaments are free. So you can take the screenshots of these. This is second condition. We can have third condition as well. When anthers as well as filaments all are fused. Anthers two are fused, filaments two are fused. Anthers fused, filaments fused. So here we have three conditions, but the fusion is among stamens only. So all these three types of fusions. One condition was when stamens were free. The second condition was when anthers of the stamens were fused, of anthers of the stamens were fused, stamens are fused. And the third condition is what? When Osama, आप बताओ, third condition is when?
When filamentous as well as anthers are fused.
Exactly, when when in stamens, filamentous as well as anthers are fused. So we have three conditions. These all conditions, that is when anthers of the stamens are fused only, when
Filament.
anthers as well as filamentous are fused, and we can have another condition. We can have another condition. Fourth condition is when filamentous are fused, but anthers are free. Anthers are
Free.
this is
Free.
called filamentous are fused. Filamentous are fused. Anthers are free. Anthers are free. These all fusions were among the stamens only, but we can have another types of fusions. For example, we have adhesion now. These were all cohesions because the fusions were among only the stamens, and the degree of fusion is varied. Degree of fusion is varied means that we have one case where anthers only were fused. We have another case where anthers as well as filaments were fused. We have the third case while only filaments were fused and anthers were free. Now we have adhesions. You repeat it, Osama, you repeat it, please.
Adhesions.
Adhesions. Adhesions में क्या होगा? We have, since in a flower we have, flower में we have sepals. Sepals के बाद क्या है? Petals. A complete flower में we have sepals, we have petals, we have then fourth whorl, that is stamens, stamens, and in after stamens we can have carpel, we can have gynoecium or carpels. This is the female whorl, this is the male whorl, and when stamens were fused among themselves only, the fusions were called cohesion. But we can have stamens fused with other parts of flower as well. For example, stamens can be on petals. We have done this kind of fusion as adhesion. We have stamens attached to the carpel. That condition is also called the adhesion. Our meeting will end in 10 minutes, but after these 10 minutes, you will join again so that we will complete at least this Androecium. तो आया वो समझ? दो चार क्लासेस में हम सारा सिलेबस फिनिश करेंगे. डू यू अंडरस्टैंड, उसामा?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
क्या क्या है मसला? We have adhesion, we have cohesion. गवर्नमेंट डायरेक्टिव्स भी है कि आप अपना सिलेबस जो है उसको कंप्लीट कीजिए, ठीक? तो आई एम फॉलोइंग
Yes, sir.
द गवर्नमेंट एज वेल एज माय ड्यूटी एज वेल, बिकॉज हमने लेट सिलेबस शुरू किया था. आई स्टार्टेड टेकिंग योर क्लासेस अफ्रेश फ्रॉम द टॉपिक नंबर फर्स्ट जब मैंने ज्वाइन किया आफ्टर ट्रांसफर. सो मेरी ड्यूटी बनती है कि मैं आपका सिलेबस कंप्लीट करके ही रखूं. और चूंकि गवर्नमेंट ऑर्डर भी है, अब एडहीजन एंड कोहीजन. सो मेरा may you repeat it, what is now meant by adhesion and cohesion, please?
Yes, sir.
बताओ.
सर कोहेजन है खाली स्टेम फ्लावर के क्या हो सिर्फ स्टेमन्स फ्यूज होते हैं. एडिशन में सिर्फ स्टेमन्स नहीं, फ्लावर के कोई भी दो वर्ल्स आपस में फ्यूज हो सकते हैं.
आपने गलत समझा. We were referring to only stamens. मैं फिर से बताऊं. When the fusion is among stamens only, this type of fusion is called cohesion. मैंने इसमें example ली थी. When water molecules are attached to one another by hydrogen bonding, we call that cohesion. and when water molecules are attached to xylem walls, that is called adhesion. We are studying only stamens. stamens का stamens का आपस में फ्यूजन, उसको हम कोहिजन कहते हैं. And when stamens are attached to other parts of the flower, उसको हम adhesion. मैं with I am talking of stamens with respect to other parts of the flower. I am not talking about the fusion among other parts of the flower. मैं stamens की बात कर रहा हूँ. Stamens का fusion among themselves and stamens का fusion with other parts of the flower. आया समझ आप?
यस सर, आया समझ में, लेट आई क्लास में इसलिए सर.
अब हम करेंगे काम. देखिए, with this background, हफ्सा, with this background,
Yes, sir.
with this background, इसके बाद आप फिर से ज्वाइन करेंगे क्लास. लिंक विल बी द सेम. it is a link. What link? It is a recurring link. और ये आपको, आप किसी भी टाइम, शर्त यह है कि मैंने स्टार्ट किया हो, उजमा जानस करतो कहाँ इनसुन फोन नंबर छुआ या इनसुन ये छुआ क्या कंटैक्ट, ये छन जहत, ये क्लास दोहे आसान, मगर अम दित वुस तान कहीं ति क्लास, तिकैज ये छै न ऑडियो थ्रू लिंक. अमिस करतो सुमेरा, आप जानती हो उजमा जान को?
नो सर.
कोई भी आप में उजमा जान को जानता है? सुमेरा,
यस सर.
आई थिंक यू आर इन बोथ ग्रुप्स. आप एक मैसेज डालिए उजमा जान के लिए. उजमा जान सिर्फ ये वीडियो थ्रू ज्वाइन होती है, ऑडियो थ्रू वो ज्वाइन नहीं होती है. शी इज नॉट कनेक्टेड टू अस बस ऑडियो, तो शी डज नॉट लिसन टू अस. वो हमारा कुछ भी नहीं सुन पाती है. अच्छा, ग्रुप में कोई मैसेज करे ग्रुप में. समन नाउ कम टू दिस पॉइंट, कोहिजन ऑफ स्टेमिनस. जो अभी मैंने बोर्ड पे दिखाया, द कोहिजन अमंग स्टेमिनस, इस बुनियाद पे हमें we have when the floral parts of similar whorl are fused. जब फ्लोरल पार्ट्स ऑफ सिमिलर वर्ल, एक ही वर्ल के पार्ट्स ऑफ फ्लावर में फ्यूजन होगा, इस फ्यूजन को हम कोहिजन कहते हैं. क्या कहते हैं?
Cohesion.
For example, their petals can be fused among themselves, sepals can be fused among themselves, stamens can be fused among themselves, carpels can be fused among themselves. That condition is called a cohesion. Since we are at this time studying the stamens, and when stamens are fused among themselves, we call the stamens, we call it as cohesion of stamens. Based on when stamens are of an androecium are free from one another, it is called a polystaminous or polyandrous condition. इसको हम polyandrous कहते हैं. जिस तरह when sepals are free in the calyx, we call that as a polysepalous condition. When petals are free, we call that as polypetalous condition. So when stamens are free, we call it as polyandrous condition. Androecium. Andro means male. Now we have this. We have adelphus. This is very important. Adelphus क्या गो? आपने पढ़ा होगा मैरिज में एक ह्यूमन्स में भी एक कुछ ट्राइब्स में एडल्फी होती है. वी हैव पॉलीएडल्फी. जिस तरह पॉलीगैमी में पॉलीगाइनी, पॉलीएंड्री, दीज सिचुएशन. Adelphus का when we take the literal meaning of adelphus, it is a relation between brothers. Adelphus का मतलब क्या गो? Relation between brothers. चूंकि stamens are male part of the flower. Stamens क्या होते हैं? Male part of the
Flower.
flower. And we can literally say that stamens are brothers among themselves. When stamens are united by their filament only, जब stamens आपस में only joined through filaments, this condition is called adelphous condition. क्या कहते हैं इसको?
Adelphus.
अब क्या हो गई adelphous condition? When stamens are
United by their filament only.
Asal. When stamens are united by their filaments only. For example, this is one stamen, this is one stamen, and their filaments are fused. This condition is called Adelphus condition. And we can have types of Adelphus condition: monoadelphus and diadelphus. Monoadelphus and diadelphus.
Diadelphous.
Just after finishing this class, you will join, waiting for few minutes. You will join again ताकि हम सिलेबस को जल्दी जल्दी खत्म करें. उसामा समझ है यवान?
Sir, Yavan has asal point. But
Banana गोड़ाई.
class join करित किया.
हाँ?
मैं बासन sir बहक ने next class join करित किया.
अच्छा तो शिक बीमार शायद ना?
Yes sir.
चलो कैशन. मानो एडल्फस क्या गो? मानो एडल्फस गो अटेंडेंस करेंगे सारे लोग. मानो एडल्फस एंड डायएडल्फस. एडल्फस में हमने पढ़ा कि व्हेन फिलामेंट्स आर फ्यूज्ड, फिलामेंट्स ओनली आर फ्यूज्ड. अब मानो एडल्फस क्या होता है और डायएडल्फस क्या होता है? अब सेकंड क्लास में आप सारे अटेंडेंस करेंगे. मानो एडल्फस मन व्हेन ऑल फिलामेंट्स आर यूनाइटेड इन ए सिंगल बंडल. ये सारी फिलामेंट्स आसन एक्सी बंडलस मन, but anthers are free. Seri anthers are free from each other. And this type of cohesion, a tube-like structure is formed around the gynoecium, which is called a staminal tube. क्या कहते हैं इसको? Stamina tube.
Stamina tube.
Exactly, stamina tube. इसमें, for example, we can see it in cotton, we can see it in hollyhock, lady finger. Lady finger छ अस वनन बिंदी ते. किंग ऑफ वेजिटेबल, किंग ऑफ वेजिटेबल्स. अगर मैं आपको प्रोजेक्ट दूंगा कि आप ये बनाओ, क्या बनाएंगे आप? मानो एडल्फस कंडीशन. यू विल ज्वाइन ऑल दीज, you will join all filaments together. They will form a tube and you will keep the stamens free. You will keep the stamens free.
Free.
This is called monoadelphous condition. Now we have diadelphous condition. When all stamens of the androecium are in two groups, are in two bundles, यहाँ पे दो बंडल बन जाएंगे. यानी some stamens के filaments एक साथ होंगे and some stamens के filaments एक साथ होंगे, but anthers are free. Anthers दोनों bundles में free होंगे. This condition is called diadelphous condition. For example, we have this condition seen in pea. This is in bean. This is in gram. ये